We've got another example where we're being asked to solve an equation. So again, one of the things to remember is, of course, there's this equal sign. That's what's usually in equations. And that this word solve means ultimately what we're about is finding a value of x that makes the equation true. And just like in the other example from this chapter, we're going to have to do some simplifying of things and gathering like terms as it will. But the first thing we're going to have to do here is get rid of these parentheses. Well, we can't get rid of them by combining terms inside them because they aren't like terms. So the other option we have is distributive property. So we're going to do that. So this becomes 6 times 6x. This becomes 6 times 2 minus 5 times 3x. Ooh, and minus 5 times negative 16. Negative times a negative is positive, so we have 5 times 16. Now on the other side of the equal sign, I've got 5 times 4x plus 5 times 4 minus 13. Notice the 5 isn't being multiplied by the 13 because it's not in the parentheses. Okay, so that leaves us with 36x minus 12 minus 15x plus 80 equals 20x plus 20 minus 13. And then on each side of the equal sign, we can gather the like terms. So 36x and negative 15x become 21x. Negative 12 and plus 80 become plus 68. Over on the other side, 20x is the only term with x in it. But 20 and negative 13 can be combined to leave you with 7. So now we want to do things. We can add the same thing to both sides, subtract the same thing from both sides, multiply both sides by the same thing, or divide both sides by the same thing to get to that ultimate destination, which is an equivalent equation with x on one side and a number on the other. And that's going to tell us, then it's real easy to figure out, hey, what value of x makes that true. But to do that, we aren't moving things around. A lot of people like to think of it as moving stuff around. We're subtracting things from both sides. So if we either subtract 20x or subtract 21x from both sides, one of these sides will no longer have an x. And 20x is a lot more convenient because that will leave the x on this side, and that's kind of cool. Okay, so subtracting 20x from both sides, and we might as well in the same operation. Now we better not, just to show you. We have now x plus 68 equals 7. Well, now we got to get x all by itself. We got this 68 here, and this 68 is joined to this side by a plus. So we unjoin it by subtracting. If it were joined by a times, we'd unjoin it by dividing. But here we have subtract 68, except for if we do that on this side of the equal sign, we've got to do this on this side of the equal sign as well. We're just left with x on the left-hand side, and 7 minus 68 is just the opposite of 68 minus 7. And that is just going to be the opposite of 61, or negative 61. So negative 61 should be what comes in there and makes that true. It says to check. Again, I'm going to leave checking to you by yourselves on your own.